you can write it down as clear as day that Arana Nation not only supports Iran in this fight in the Middle East, but also calls on Iran to destroy Saudi Arabia, tear it to a pulp, rip that nation up good and proper, and let the United States watch while you're doing it. I don't know what got it into the heads of these so-called conservatives, these so-called nationalists, that Saudi Arabia is our friend and Iran is supposed to be our enemy. These guys have it completely wrong. Either they're just uneducated and they are being conned by neocons and other globalist, dark, Zionistic forces, or what's happening is we are being conned. Now, I don't know what it is, but either we are being conned or the people who call themselves nationalists and, who say, Islam is this and Islam is that, they don't know the first thing that they're talking about. If I were to choose to support one regime over the next, I would choose the Iranian regime. I'm not saying that we have to be friendly with Iran and invite Iranians over here and all this stuff, but, let's look at the facts. Number one, let's look at the type of Islam that is popular in Iran. Now, Islam as a whole, I disagree with. I'm not a fan of Sharia. I'm not a fan of halal meat. I'm not a fan of any of it. But, patriots, the type of Islam that's taught in Iran is a lot more moderate, a lot more democratic than what's taught in Saudi Arabia. Women in places like Iran and even Syria, which are of a Shia majority, women can, for the most part, drive and even involve themselves in politics and things. Saudi Arabia, it's a completely different age. Women can't drive, women can't do anything. You can be stoned in this country, for crying out loud. You can literally be stoned. You can have your neck chopped off. All that sort of fart foolishness is happening in Saudi Arabia, and Donald Trump, who's supposed to be a populist, who's supposed to be ever vigilant on Islam and all this stuff, is now trying to, look, the guy got rid of John Bolton. I thought that would be a good step forward. But now I'm hearing this thing that we may, and I stress may, end up in another global conflict over Saudi Arabia because Iran did something to Saudi Arabia. I don't give a damn what Iran does. I wish Iran would tear Saudi Arabia off the map, wipe them up. And you know what? If they did it, and I was the president, I wouldn't punish Iran. I would welcome Iran with open arms back into the global community for destroying a nation, which I suspect had a great deal to do with what happened on September 11th. It could have been an inside job. It could not have been an inside job, but whatever happened, I do think that Saudi Arabia's fingerprints may have been on September 11th. You guys also have to realize that most of the 9/11 hijackers came from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia openly calls for their people to branch out into the world in order to, what? Create a global caliphate. Control the world with Islam. That's Saudi Arabia. They are known to be, not Iran, but Saudi is known to be the world's #1 sponsor of Islamic terrorism, whether it's Al-Qaeda or, well, it used to be before Osama and Saudi got into a falling out, but ISIS and all those different people. Saudi Arabia. This is not a nation which the West and Donald Trump, if he says he's a nationalist, should be trusting. If anything, we should be trusting Iran. Now, why do I keep harping on about countries like Iran, Libya, with Gaddafi, Iraq when Saddam Hussein was in power? There are certain Arab leaders, pan-Islamists, who don't think that Islam should spread out, branch out into the rest of the world. These guys are similar to people like Louis Farrakhan and Marcus Garvey, where instead of being black nationalists, they're Arab nationalists. They believe Arabs should come together in the Middle East, form a Middle Eastern superstate, not interfere with the West, do their own thing, have their own laws, religions. And many of these guys give more freedoms to people like women and even black folk, non-Muslims, than, some of the more extremist fundamentalists like Taliban and Saudi Arabia do. So looking at the track records, I tend to follow Iran and be more, not trusting, but more, not completely trusting, but more trusting of Iran than I am with Saudi Arabia. Iran just wants to be left alone, do its own thing. Saudi Arabia has a plan and I would say they've already done it, to control the world economically, socially, all that sort of stuff. I mean, I'm not one to quote Michael Moore or even give you guys lessons of what Michael Moore has said, the very far-left liberal movie maker. But one thing that Michael Moore has talked about makes perfect sense, and I'll continue to talk about it even to this day. Saudi Arabia, just like probably Israel, controls the United States economically. I'm telling you. Let me tell you. And Michael Moore put it this way. If the American people pay you $100,000 to be president of the United States, but Saudi Arabia, its kingdom, its leaders, its moguls, its barons, its business people, invest billions of dollars into your companies, into your economy, into your, whatever. Who are you going to follow more? It is a fact that many Saudi princes and kings and all these sort of people, they own a lot of our economy. They own massive amounts of shares in blue chip companies, media companies, Disney, all this sort of stuff. There's an Arab, not an Arab, Saudi prince. I don't know his name. He owns a big old yacht. He's known for having a flag with the company logo of every company that he has shares in. Massive amounts of shares. Disney, Intel, blue chip companies. He's got shares in them. He owns the American economy. So he can crash the American economy if he wants. We have these type of people who I still suspect had something to do with 9/11, controlling the American economy. This is why Donald Trump is literally even hinting at going to war because Iran threatened Saudi Arabia. Well, excuse me, I want Iran to wipe Saudi Arabia off the map. I don't care about Saudi Arabia. I have no plans on going there, visiting there. After saying what I've just said, I can never visit Saudi Arabia now, and I don't give a damn. I ain't planning on going to that godforsaken country, that desert there. I'm not saying Iran is perfect, but I know that the reason Iran is angry with us, the West, is because we keep having this thing in our head that we are so superior that we can determine who can have a nuclear weapon or not. Iran is its own separate country. If you're going to go after them having nuclear weapons, go after Israel. They have nuclear weapons all over the place. Go after them. Go after all these other countries. Why are you going after Iran? So I'm saying, Iran, you continue doing what you're doing. You put Saudi Arabia in its place, and if Donald Trump ever dares try to use the Western coalition to go after Iran over Saudi Arabia, it'll show him as a hypocrite. And I would hope and pray that the true patriots of the world, who really don't want to see Islam, radical fundamentalist Islam, take over the world, would not vote for him if he invaded Iran over Saudi Arabia. Iran wants nothing to do with America. They have no interest in controlling us. They want their own way of life, and I say yeah and amen to that. Why can't they do their own thing? It's better that they get to do their own thing, build up their own country, build up their own infrastructure, their own military, and have their people want to move in those areas instead of here, than having Saudi Arabia controlling our economy, probably terrorizing us covertly, and encouraging their people to come here to form caliphate. I'm not saying I don't want Arabs here. Many of my friends are Arabs. I'm not a part of this anti-Arab thing. I do hate Islam, but I hate Zionism just as much, just like I hate Hinduism and Sikhism and all that strange, foreign foolishness with these strange, barbaric practices. But we're going after a wrong enemy. Let's go after the enemy who wants to be left alone by Israel and by Saudi Arabia instead of protecting the country that is doing the West a great deal of harm. This is the Arana Nation, and this is the nation that stands with Iran in this matter. In this matter of Saudi versus Iran, I hope Iran crushes Saudi Arabia. And if Donald Trump tries to stop them, you can kiss my support for him goodbye. I won't support anybody who is head over heels over a nation which is planning to control the world economically and religiously. I'd rather support a nation's right to self-determination.